Welcome, my fellow Potterheads. I am Atomic Dudman, your host for today's magical adventure, and unlike some other YouTubers, I've read all the Harry Potter books, I've seen all the movies, I've cross-referenced scenes like a nerd, I'm huge into this series, I'm hyped just as you are, but anyway, let's delve into the wizarding world of Hogwarts Legacy. Enjoy. What we know about Hogwarts Legacy thus far. Here's an official statement released by Warner Bros. And Avalanche Software. Developed by Avalanche Software, creators of most Disney game titles such as Toy Story 3 and Disney Infinity series. This is not the same as Avalanche Studios, who created Rage 3, Mad Max, and the Just Cause franchise. The game is being developed by Avalanche Software and published by Warner Bros. Entertainment. Games under the Portkey Games label, Hogwarts Legacy, will be coming sometime in 2021 to all current and next generation of consoles, including the PC as well. Hogwarts Legacy invites all fans to live the unwritten, placing you before the Harry Potter series in the 1800s, where players will live the life of a latecomer student who will start their 5th year at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Expect Hogwarts Legacy to be filled with all kinds of immersive magic, while your student character will learn a vast array of spells, brew potions, tame fantastic beasts, select companions to help them fight off even the deadliest of enemies. The game will also feature beautiful surrounding locations beyond that of Hogwarts Castle, such as the Forbidden Forest, Hogsmeade Village, with plenty more to explore. As your Hogwarts journey continues, you will pick up new magical abilities along the way and learn about who you are as well. As you dig deeper into the Wizarding World's forgotten past, your character will discover an unusual ability that they only possess. Hogwarts Legacy will challenge all players in all sorts of unexpected ways, including scenarios that will present you with difficult choices and make one question their personal morals. David Haddad, president of Warner Bros. Games, calls this gaming experience unlike anything else in the wizarding world. He also stated that Hogwarts Legacy gives players control over their own experience with RPG gameplay, unlike anything else in the wizarding world, which will continue to build fan appeal in the Portkey Games label. David further expressed that Avalanche has brought to life this rich and deep world full of action-packed magic, as well as a detailed, mysterious story to engage fans and gamers alike. In the next segment of the video, I'm going to be divulging my personal wish list and that of the community's wish list, and what we all personally as a Harry Potter fan community would like to see.
Come to die.
The first thing, that's right, I want to see is the use of unforgivable curses. I know this is very unlikely to happen, but I want a darker experience than that of Harry Potter. To be able to be truly evil, the darkest wizard or witch ever imagine, control someone at your leisure, torture them for the sadistic pleasure or even information, or murder all those who oppose you and name themselves your enemy. Even add the ability to create a Horcrux to give you more life if you do die or something of that nature, to add an even darker layer to the game. An idea that's being thrown around right now is, let's say we could be able to graduate Hogwarts. We show up in year 5 and we're able to play years 5 through 7. We graduate and join a job at the Ministry of Magic, or you become a dark wizard trying to dominate the world. Let's say we even become a professional Quidditch player, or even a dark horror who freaking hunts down all these dark wizards, and that's our story, that's our career path. And or even have the game end where we have this newfound power and create a sequel based after Hogwarts where we do get a job and have a Hogwarts Legacy 2. Something that I think everyone can agree with is that we want an in-depth and an overall perfect Quidditch experience, almost as a simulation, while trying out for a specific position on our own house team and being able to get on our own houses for our Quidditch team. That would be so much fun, and being able to gain house points through that in a house point system. Dueling has to be in the game. Absolute must. It needs to be colorful, engaging, rich, vibrant, very full of life. I want to see extensive power like you see in the movies, just radiating between two individuals. Say our wands and streams of, of our spells connect. I want to see that in the game and really feel that while I'm there. Personally, I would also like to see student friendships and also rivalries to be a part of Hogwarts, such as Harry's experience, how he has his trio of Hermione Granger and Ron Weasley. I'd also like to see the rivalry between your own character, such as Harry Potter and Malfoy's rivalry within the movies, and see that change over time throughout the years that you're at the school. Here's one that I would love just to give our own wizards and witches our own personal background. I'd really like to see when we select, our different wizard types and stuff like that in our menus to be able to also choose our blood purity. If we're a half-blood, if we were, a muggle-born and, like Hermione Granger, and then came into it and never had anything of a background of magic at all, but we have magical capabilities, or even say we're a pure blood of that nature. I think that would really add a different dynamic to the game and also give you a different social standing, just like it does within Harry Potter. Another thing that I'd love to see in the game is a choice of what house we can join, or even have a dynamic system in the game or optional feature that presents us with like an end-game test that determines what house we should join based off the dialogue options we choose. Say it's even similar to that as the Sorting Hat with Harry Potter when he speaks to the hat, and the hat gives you that option to choose what house you want even after you take this test. And in the end, we still get to select our house, but it'd be cool to see what house it would put us into depending on what we chose as dialogue options. I think that would be very fun to see. I used to play all the old Harry Potter games up to the very end. I've played them all, experienced them all, and what I would really love to see make a return as a collectible would be wizard trading cards, make a return from other games. That would just be nice, add another layer of stuff you could find throughout the game, in desks, or being able to search desks, cupboards, all sorts of stuff. I would really enjoy seeing that put into the game. Seeing that this is an RPG game, I think it'd be kind of fun having healing items in the game, such as like a Wiggenweld potion that is a potion of healing, or pumpkin pasty, or Bertie Bott's every flavor bean, or mice ice, or even cauldron cakes. That would just add a dynamic of, the different types of candy in the game, and also give them a function within game to your character, giving them a sense of purpose of an item if you find it, instead of just, hey, I can eat something, hey, sweet, if, I'm in a battle or something, I can eat some, like, Bertie Bott's beans, or, cauldron cake, and heal myself. And even further go off eating and stuff like that, say you get attacked by a Dementor, and, you pass out or something like that, and you can eat a chocolate frog, because supposedly chocolate helps, and chocolate is associated with dopamine, which is the happy chemical that releases in our brain, and that gives you pretty much happiness back in Harry Potter, that gives you, helps you recover a little bit faster. Just as Harry Potter discovered that his Patronus was a stag, I'd love to have the ability to discover what our own Patronus is. Being able to find out what it is based off of, another optional test, or while you're learning it, you close your eyes and you select something that makes you happy. It gives you a bunch of lists of something that makes you happy, and you select it. Something of that nature to show, what different types of Patronuses you could have. Another interesting thing would, for our characters, to give them more of a backstory, would be being able to select, like, your blood lineage to that of a famous witch or wizard, thus giving you unique abilities such as the ability to speak to snakes and becoming a Parselmouth. Or, if you are a true pure of heart Gryffindor, you could pull the sword of Gryffindor from the Sorting Hat, or it could just present itself to you when you're fighting a magical creature within the game. That would be really sweet to have those magical artifacts that pop up. Something as much as anyone, I think, would love to see is a living, breathing Hogwarts full of magic. I'd love the ability to be able to find secret passageways throughout the school. I'd also be able to see places and areas and corridors of Hogwarts that we've never seen in the movies at all, or the video games. It'd be really nice to see a full-scale Hogwarts that we can truly explore, and even have the room of requirements make a return as well. Another thing that does need a return is a day and night cycle, period. We need a day and night cycle. It's next gen, we need it. And also, let's have the ability to break rules and be out after dark in the game, just like the original games did. Or the ability to gain or lose house points and win the house cup at the end of the year, depending on how you played the game. and even have that celebration if you do win. As I reiterate back before, I'd love to see other magical objects and artifacts, like not the Invisibility Cloak from the Deathly Hallows, but say a Invisibility Cloak, you know, that's not the one from Deathly Hallows. Add like a stealth sort of mechanic, that'd be really fun to have. Or even have the ability to become a head boy or girl, or become a righteous prefect and, you know, make sure that you do the correct things that come along with the job, or even abuse your power as Malfoy did within the books when he became a prefect. That'd be really exciting. Personally, the way I feel they should start the game off is you getting your letter from Hogwarts and then you going to Diagon Alley. I'd love the ability just to be able to go shopping for your own pets, like an owl, you know, a rat, a toad, something of that nature. Your potion ingredients, spell books, getting fitted for your robes, having, you know, to choose your wand from Ollivanders, getting snacks, you know, all these different places, going to Green Gods, getting money, you know, and things of that nature. I think that'd be really exciting to see within the game. And being able to even return later on in your next following year, or even going out on a weekend or something like that, how they do in Hogsmeade, but to go to Green Gods and Diagon Alley, you know, in their free time. The grounds of Hogwarts need to change along with the seasons, and so does the Order of Fantastic Beasts are dynamic with this feature, as some go into hibernation or migrate somewhere warmer during the winter season. In the movies, we always see pretty much transitions to show passage of time between different scenes within the movies, to avoid having to go into too much detail like the books did and leaving out tons of parts of the book. So typically, yes, everyone I think wants to see holidays in the game and wants to see season changes. I think everyone wants to write back home, especially in Hogwarts. I want to write an owl to my friends, or even, you know, my parents back at home within the game, assuming that you have parents, or even being able to subscribe and read to the Daily Prophet, and they drop you, you know, a daily profit off, you know, each and every day in the game. That'd be really fun to read what's going on outside the walls of Hogwarts. Further expanding upon this, it'd also be very nice to see, you know, a sort of system that they implemented where you can purchase things from Diagon Alley, where you don't have to go off on the weekend or something to purchase an item. You give your owl some money and a shopping list, and that they go to these different stores in Diagon Alley and they attach all the things to the owl and they bring it back to you, you know, one item at a time, each morning. You know, when you have your morning breakfast, you have your owls and mails come in the morning. That'd be perfect, I think. Give us the option and the ability to fly with a broomstick around the ground so that we can get to places quicker, or even that of a hippogriff. That'd be epic. Teach us how to apparate from location to location even, but only outside of Hogwarts, because everyone knows you can't apparate within the walls of Hogwarts unless you're Dumbledore, of course, and he has certain perks. Seeing that relationships have been alluded to, seeing this is going to be an RPG game, I really want to see in-depth RPG relationships. I want romance options with even possible marriage if you're able to graduate from Hogwarts. It'd even nice to be able to buy a manor or even a magical home that you can call your own outside of Hogwarts and move into. Something they really need to nail in this game is having these meaningful dynamic choice options that are just very impactful throughout the entire story. Not something that's like, oh yeah, sure, I did it. Cool. You know, I did this. I want direct impact, cause and effect. You know, you did this, this happened, and it to be very blunt and very clear and very organized of what's going on. Every wizard always has to take their OWLs and their newts. So personally, I want to take them, or even I want to be able to practice the magic that I'm learning in school, study, or even rent books from the library, or even from the restricted section where I could learn magic that's even ahead of my year, even if it is a little darker. As I stated previously, I do want to see holidays return, but also when holidays come, I want to see the castle doused, decorations everywhere of that specific holiday, just absolutely everywhere. I want to see garland going up the staircase rails. I want to see the Great Hall with like 15 Christmas trees going down the aisleways on each side, a giant Christmas tree behind the headmaster's chair. I want to see these decorations, absolutely. What I don't want to see in the game, I do not want to see any characters or returning characters from other titles within, the Harry Potter or Wizarding World universe. I don't want to see Dumbledore. I do not want to see Grindelwald. All I want is to have a detailed story that doesn't interfere with the Fantastic Beast or Harry Potter timeline. This game is about our legacy and it's about us, so let's be a little bit selfish and shy away from other characters. Maybe if they add some sort of Easter egg in the game, I would be fine with that. But besides that, no, I physically don't want to see him in the game. I do not want to see Dumbledore, do not want to see Grindelwald. I'd really love to see mini games added in, such as Wizard's Chest or even Gobstones. That would just be really fun to, mini activity to play as, and even say you put, bets on it of a few galleons or Canuts or whatever you want to put in. That would be really fun just to play those or even level it up and get better at them. I want a very fun gaming loop with a lot of quest diversity. The quest diversity I want to be related to what house we're sorted in. So if we're put into one house, like say I'm in Gryffindor and my friends in Slytherin, they'll have a different experience or way of going about things or things of that nature, or a quest is presented to them differently than how mine is, just to add that replayability factor into the game. That would be perfect, and it would really impact the longevity of Hogwarts Legacy. Relating back to our houses that we're sorted into, I'd love to really see different attributes and buffs to your character based on the house you're sorted into. I'd love to see us, if we go and have morning breakfast, that we receive our mail, or even being able to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner would be a nice addition to the game that would really add that RPG element. Also, when it comes to our classes, I want them to be similar to Bully, but not be time stamps where we click this button or that button, to make more of your character powerful and unique when you do take these classes. And the things that you learn from these classes, I want you to actually be able to apply them to life-threatening situations and making the learning experience interesting, diverse, and fun for us players to actually partake in. I don't want a Defense Against the Dark Arts class where it's similar to when the Ministry of Magic invaded and we didn't practice any spells or anything like that. I think that would be god-awful. That'd be a terrible time. Other than romance options and friendships that you can have in the game, I'd really like to be able to form relationships with professors in games, such as Harry had a very good relationship with Professor Slughorn, and a very terrible rivalry-like relationship with Professor Snape. I'd love to see that type of student-professor dynamic of this type of nature innovated into this game. Let's say that they add events into the game, or seeing that this is hundreds of years before they actually got Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Let's say a Goblet of Fire event takes place during this timeline where you can compete and have a chance to earn a large sum of galleons if you are the winner, and say you even get to keep the Wizarding Cup. That would be really exciting. A few other features that I think would really spice this game up is underwater exploration of like the Black Lake next to Hogwarts, being able to create your own spells or potions similar to that of the Half-Blood Prince of how Professor Snape did it when he was going to school, or even upgrading your spells or your potion intensity and abilities that you gain throughout your playthrough. When it comes down to the morality system, I want it to be similar to that of Fable, where it shows if you're very evil or very good, but not as, demon horns or anything like that. I want to see stuff that's similar to that of Harry Potter, where it is representational. Like, you become more pale, your hair becomes more light, your eyes become, turn a different color. You get bags under your eyes, or hell, you lose all your hair like Voldemort did and have a snake nose and a forked tongue like he did and become very thin. That would be a very nice dynamic to see in the game, depending on how evil we can truly become. Another thing that I think they should add into the game for difficulty and replayability is the ability to have a new game mode plus, which will add substantial replayability factor into the game. Another interesting factor would be is to become a vampire, werewolf, or even by choice an animagus. Something else that I've been seeing is that nobody wants a character that's unscripted or mute like older games. We want to make sure a character has scripted lines, both male and female voices, and that we just want to have that voice in there. Instead of just having a main story personally, I would also like to see multiple side stories, similar to that of Skyrim's vampire quest line, you know, with the Dawn Guards, or even the Thieves Guild, or, you know, the Dark Brotherhood, where you're an assassin. I'd like to see those, you know, side quests that actually have meaningful impacts towards you, and even gain you new abilities, armor, gear, you know, or something, or a new spell, or potion, or something of that nature. Something that, you know, feels very powerful is destructible spells that can cause actual world damage, such as like Bombarda Maxima, or the ability to repair things like Reparo. Hogwarts of Mystery is the Harry Potter mobile type game that is very microtransaction, you know, impacted, just like any mobile game typically would be, and isn't that consumer friendly. But the one thing I think they did right was the recent innovation of adding clubs like you have, I think, a Dogma or Dragma like club where you can have dueling and things of that nature, going to fly on your broomstick, or even a study like club. And it's just, clubs should be in the game that you can really make friends with that RPG element, and get to know people of similar interests, and have those companions that like the same things that you like. Diverse clothing options need to be in the game. I'd like to have clothing options that pertain to your house, so that you have different variants of clothing options, like a sweater vest, or, you know, a button-up like vest with your tie, or, you know, dress pants and that nature, and things like that, with your, obviously, your robes with the hood and things like that. Or even have it so you can wear more like wizard and witch-like cloaks that you would see out normally within the wizarding world. Or you could even have the Muggle type clothing of the 1800s, so you as a wizard, when you go into the Muggle type of world, you have that type of clothing to blend in. So the next segment of this video, I'm not particularly fond of, but I'm open-minded to the prospect of it. What we're going to be talking about is a post-launch multiplayer. What a lot of players want to see in this multiplayer is the ability to play Quidditch against other players online, duel other players and test their grit and their abilities, maybe even talk and hang out together with randoms in Diagon Alley, making it an online social hub, or even make it so you can play gobstones or even wizard chests against one another. If they do add microtransactions, for the love of God, Avalanche and Warner Bros., make it consumer friendly, so we don't want to like pull our hair out. And if Avalanche and Warner Bros. Really want the online, if they have it online as that is, they need to listen to us, the community, to create this multiplayer experience, gather it, find the base mechanics of what we're going to be doing in the multiplayer online, so that it can add more content, and overall just have a lot of, you know, constructive criticism and feedback from the community of what we want in the game, because at the end of the day, we're the ones playing it and giving them our money to support a game that we've come to love and hopefully will love for years to come, if this is the only type of game of its nature that we'll be releasing, unless they do go the route of making it a trilogy. Our journey together is coming to an end, my friends. What are you hoping to see in the game when it comes out? What features would you like to see? If you want that online experience, what would you like to see in it? How would you like to see it play out? Please make sure to drop a like if you enjoyed the video today, and subscribe for similar content in the future. I'll be covering Hogwarts Legacy extensively. I'm a huge Potterhead. I'll also be covering the upcoming Fable reboot. I'll also be covering Vampire Bloodlines 2, Dying Light 2, Saints Row 5, and even showing a bit of content on Cyberpunk 2077, and much, much more. Please hit that subscribe button, and I'd like to personally thank each and every one of you that took time out of your day to watch this video. And until next time, my Potterheads, stay magical.
Congratulations for finishing the video, and thank you for tuning in today. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to see more of my future content. Also, if you enjoyed today's video, why not drop a like to show your support for my channel. Stay tuned for more videos coming right your way. Stay nuclear, and until next time.